Your goal of the intro is to not to do anything that's on your list of items to cover. It's to get them talking. Why? Because they were not expecting your call. They're not waiting by the phone. They are busy. They are washing dishes. They are doing emails. They are multitasking. They accidentally picked up the phone like I did that day, thinking it's the kids' school, right? And then all of a sudden you're pitching them in the ear. They just can't wait to hang up the phone. So instead, we're going to perk their ear with a SWIFT value, and then we're going to get them to talk because they can't do email while they're talking to you. And if we get them to talk, all of a sudden we're in a conversation and you're on first base. Here's how we build it. Number one, we start with their name. Then we do your name and company as short as possible. Then that ear perk we talked about, we'll dig into in a second. And we end with the SWIFT questions. All right, first of all, I'm going to cover the first two on this slide. We start with their name because it's a pattern interrupt and it gets them to look up a little bit. Okay, I'm doing email. Lauren. It works. That's why your mom does it, to get you to come to dinner, right? So we start with their name a little loud. We're not screaming at them. We're just saying, hey, Greg. It's much better than saying, is this Mr. Parsons' resident? Right? Like, be informal, be friendly, call them by their name. This could be their friend calling. Now I want you to say your name and quickly. They will ask you about it again later. I had a guy once, you probably have heard of the company HP, and he said, this is Gregory Popham with Hewlett Packard Enterprises in the small to medium personal computing division on the East Coast. I have hung up the phone, Greg, right? Be Greg with HP. Now we're going to get into number 3 and number 4 because this is where the money is. We're going to perk their ear. Now, again, they're doing email. They're not fully listening to what you're saying. So we're trying to do something that grabs a little bit of their attention. And we do it with what we call the SWIFT 6. These are things that business people value. What do people care about? Nia, do you want to tell everybody? You want to get in here and tell everybody what they care about? All right, here we go. You know what this is. The first two on the board, everybody knows. It's time and money, baby. Are you going to save me time or are you going to make me money? It could be spending less time. It could be cutting time you're doing other things. It could be more profit. It could be spend less. It could be more revenue. Number 3 is my hot button as a working mom. Make my life easier, please. Any way possible you can. That's going to get my attention. But other people are motivated by looking good. Maybe being a hero, having a better reputation, right? Being the envy of all their neighbors and friends. Power is absolutely real. In fact, control is right there with power too. That works with a lot of people in purchasing. Risk. Maybe you sell a product like insurance, right? Keeping you safe, protecting your nest egg. Those are risk statements. And then finally, you can always use a lever because when I hear that you work with my neighbor, Tina, that gives you instantly some more credibility and I'll listen, okay? We're going to pick one of these. How do you pick which one? Well, this is where we can start using AI. Who do you sell to, right? Do working moms care more about, right? Which of the SWIFT 6 do working moms care more about? Which of the SWIFT 6 do revenue leaders care most about? Okay, you may have a gut instinct on this, but do a little research. Now here, we're going to put it together. Hey, Greg. Hey, Mr. Customer. This is Lauren from Factor 8. Mark in legal asked me to give you a call. That's a lever. Hey, Mr. Customer. Lauren from Factor 8. I'm calling to see if we can help you kick up the ROI on your training investment. ROI, return on investment. I'm hitting the money lever. Here's one that looks like ease. Mr. Customer, Lauren with Factor 8. I'm calling to make hiring a lot easier for you. Mr. Customer, Lauren with Factor 8. The goal of my call is to pull all the risk out of hiring salespeople this year. Get it? One sentence. Now, this is the kind of thing it really takes some practice and some workshopping to do because your first instinct will be to put your whole value prop in there. Okay? I want you to remember something. They're not listening to you. When I teach this class around the world and we sit and we write them and then we go around the table and we read them to each other, afterwards I say, what do you remember about what he just said to you? And you know what? It's always one word, and it's the value word. Okay? They'll say, oh, risk. Oh, easier. Oh, ROI. That's all they heard. And we're in a class focused on writing these together. Okay? Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it as short as possible, because what's the goal? To get them talking. All right, so how do we do it? With the last part, the SWIFT question. Now, if you've ever studied sales, somebody told you to always ask open questions. Open questions get people talking and elaborating, and you get to hear things about their hot buttons and what they really care about, right? They're going to tell you more of their wants and needs. Not this time. We want it to be closed. We want it to be really easy to answer. We want it to be really fast to answer. A number or a yes, no works great.